Hey everybody, how's it growing? It's growing great here in the Midwest. It's early June and the temperatures have rose exponentially. It's early evening here, so it's a nice cool 75, nice breeze going. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like this video, stick around. We got a lot of content coming out, but for the time being, let's take you off the tripod, show you around a little bit, show you what we got going on. All right, so first let's start before we even get into my garden area, which is a fenced in my yard. I had to fence this area in so my dogs don't mess everything up. Well, the dog that we used to have, she used to dig everything up. But let's start right here. We have some grapes. We have 2 sets of Concord grapes, which these are brand new. I just put these in. These have been in there for a little bit, so they've had a chance to acclimate and take up some nutrients, hence the darker green. These will get there. And they're not going to put on grapes anytime soon. It'll be a couple years before we actually get a nice little grape harvest. Let me redirect that, and I put them on the fence so I can still move the fence and still get grapes. Coming along the fence here are my Marquise grapes, which are green grapes. And growing great. I have a tree here that I picked up from Lowe's. Pear tree, trimmed up, and it's just sitting. I need to stick it in a 55-gallon drum along with all my other trees, which I just did pick up a bunch of new barrels, so I'll be getting that going. This is a I'm not sure exactly. This is another Concord. Hey, Burrow. So these are another Concord grape, another purple grape. This is a Marquise grape, so this is another green grape, I believe. And I have a fig tree that I just planted 2 days ago. Oh, let's just go over to my orchard here. Apple tree, trimmed up nice. Have another apple tree right here. This is a Snow Sweet. As you can see, it's got nice, beautiful fruits on it already. I've only had this year, and I did plant some strawberries underneath to save space. Now, this is a pear tree that I've had for 2 years. Did some training last year, and as you can see, I did an open center with the cut out the center leader, providing like a vase, an open center. That way all of the fruits can, as this tree grows and gets bigger and bigger, it'll provide sunlight in the middle. That way it can ripen all the fruits. This is how you like to do a plums, stone fruits, things like that. As opposed to an apple and a pear tree where you do a central leader or a modified central leader. Now coming over here right next to the plum tree is another pear tree. And I did pick all these up from Lowe's just to have them on hand. And this one, a lot of new growth happening. I did have to trim this tree. It was super tall. We've got new growth happening where I trimmed it. But that's that one. And it'll be a couple years before we get any fruit off of that. Now, back over. On the inside. Right to the right, raspberry bush. A nice raspberry. Blackberry bush looking great. And to the left of that, brand new post to put in. That way I can install the trellis above. But right here is the tomato bed. So this front row was planted after the back row. Oh, the damn cat's laying in the damn bed. Can't keep the animals out of there. But that's because I got the gates. I got the gate open. See, Burrow, what are you doing? Because we got the gate open. Oh well, it's okay. So the back row, 4 cherry tomatoes. And these other two are beefsteak and a delicious tomato, which they already got massive tomatoes on them. And then this front row was planted about 2 weeks later. And these are more of the heirloom variety. I think we got some, we have a Cherokee purple here, a lemon boy, and a German queen there. A better boy right there, and I do think this one right here in the middle is a just another cherry tomato that I ended up getting from the back there. Now I do have a bunch of clones, and I also have a few more that I picked up from Lowe's when I was just out. They were having a sale, so I just snatched them up. They were I can't remember exactly what they are. They're super sweet 100s and San Marzano. So more of a plum style, more good for sauces. Now, in front of these tomatoes here, I planted cantaloupe. So I have a cantaloupe here, a cantaloupe here, a cantaloupe there, and on the back side is another cantaloupe. Now the cantaloupe will grow out and it will sprawl all along this black plastic. Now the reasoning for that is because the bugs that like to eat these don't necessarily like to crawl on the black plastic. When that stuff is really hot in the summertime, the bugs don't like to crawl on it. So that's a little tip for you. If you're growing your cucurbits, which are your melons, your cucumbers, your squashes, they like, this is it. Your vining squashes, grow them out, plant them in your bed underneath your stuff, but sprawl them out along plastic. Now I just laid this plastic down. It's fresh. I still need to come back and do a couple more spots, like back here. Okay, so coming over here, this is my second bed. Well, actually, this is the original bed that was here first. And as you can see here in this very corner, we have a watermelon. Now this is a garden leader monster. And as you can see, this is what we're wanting it to do. Grow right here into the corner, pops out, grows along this, and moving on over here, and right next to it, as you can see, a big zucchini plant. Nice, beautiful green color. This thing is massive, and it's starting to put on some zucchinis. Right next to it is a cucumber. I do believe this is a Boston pickling, along with this front row of cucumbers in front of it. Got some smaller cucumbers right here. And a watermelon plant that I'm also letting drape over onto the black plastic. And they will sprawl out all over this plastic. I still have some more, I think these are Jubilee watermelons to plant. Those are gonna go in pots coming around to the front. These are Boston pickling. As you can see, we got some cukes already. Looks like we have some suckers that need to be picked off here. I just want one central leader, and as they go up, they'll produce cucumbers. That's what I like. And then I'm about to plant some new cucumbers, because you always want to have seconds, and these plants do not last all summer. So get your second round ready, because before long, that's why I have them in the background. That's why I had the back row later, and they're behind these. They're northern, so these are in front of, going to shade out. So once these start to die back in the middle of the summer, those are going to thrive and be about halfway up, about to the same size as these are, and then we'll take over. And then by then, I'll be pulling these out, planting new cucumbers. That's what you do. And then right here, in front of those, did the same technique. More watermelon. Now these are Crimson Sweet, which these are also big watermelon. And as you can see, they're nice and draped out onto the plastic, looking really, really healthy. Everything's really dark green, rich, healthy. Now here, green beans. These are the purple green beans. I need to pick some of these, actually. Those are purple little green beans, are Royal Burgundies. And in the back there, we have some green beans. Okay, so we also have another Royal Burgundy. which also need to be picked. And they're looking great. Now they are trellised. They do have a trellis. Eggplant. I have some squashes I need to plant. Some straight neck yellow squash that I need to plant. Also was on sale, snatched that up. Zucchini. Another zucchini. And another nice big luscious green zucchini. Now right here, that corner, eggplant, which is a purple eggplant. This one's another purple eggplant. And then this one is a white eggplant. So, moving on to next to that is my green onions. Actually, no, these are Walla Wallas. These are actually big onions. White onion, or yellow. They might be yellow. I think they're yellow onions, if I'm not mistaken. But those are going good. Right next to that is my water, my rain barrel catchment system, which I did buy a bunch more barrels. So, and moving on right here is the pepper bed. These are the peppers. Looking great. Now also, these had the same exact issue as the green beans did, which I had to come out here and pick all of the pepper, and I see one that I missed. Look at that. Huh. Look at that. Nice. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this is, because that is supposed to be an early jalapeno. There's another one. Damn it. This is supposed to be an early jalapeno, but this looks like a banana pepper. I don't know. Either way, it goes from hot to sweet. So, and there's also some, I think, icebox watermelon I need to plant, along with a Mr. Stripey tomato plant, which we'll get those in the ground here soon. And I also need to plant that pepper plant right there in the middle. I was going to get rid of it to somebody else. They didn't want it, so I'm going to go ahead and plant it, even though it looks like it's having an issue. Hit it with some nutrients, it'll be okay. But those are the peppers. Right next to that is the corn, which the corn is looking great. It's already got tassels going at the top. You can see the silks that are forming. Now, if you don't know how that works, the pollen from the corn, or from the tassels on top of the corn, is wind pollinated. So when it moves, it falls down. And if that pollen has to hit the silks, when it hits the silks, that's how you get your pollinated corn. If not, you'll get spotty corn that's missing kernels. So that's how it gets pollinated. And if you want to, you can come out and you snatch you a tassel up and just brush it on each one of your silks to do germination, which that's what I did. More onions. Right here was lettuce that we took up. Time to plant more stuff there, but this is right underneath my the back porch here, so it runs out of sunshine at about 5 hours, so it doesn't quite get that much sunshine, which is why we plant stuff that doesn't really like the sun there, like lettuce, which I have a new system being built for the lettuce. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to be dabbling into hydroponics outside, so check that stuff out. If you're a fan of the channel, stick around, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now the secret sauce to this is when you transplant, mix a little nutrients in your planting hole. Now you should be amending your soil with some compost and some other organic materials in the springtime or in the early spring to allow them to break down before you go to transplant all your stuff. But when you do, mix some of these stuff in with some nutrients, some dry amendments, like some 444 or some 462, something like that. Just anything right around the 555, anything right around the same NPK ratio. All that same old stuff. Mix in a little bone meal. That's what I do for these plants. Now for the green beans and the peppers necessarily, I shouldn't have used that because it takes a long time for the peppers to get to the point where I actually want them to fruit. I didn't want them to actually flower and put peppers on until later on this month, but instead they've already got peppers that are already finishing. So, and you need to pick these peppers. If this pepper would have been fully ripe, the plant would have stopped producing. That's why you pick peppers and you pick them often. The same thing with cucumbers. You pick your cucumbers and you pick them often, because if you let one single cucumber If you let one single cucumber on this plant turn yellow and ripen, the plant will have signaled that it's done its job in reproducing, and it'll stop producing flowers to produce cucumbers. So pick them often. Look at the fruit set. All of them, all those, all of these, just massive fruit sets on all these. And these are all luscious green plants. Same thing there. That's a weird formation. Right there. All this. You got flowers going all the way up. These will all be new clusters of tomatoes. And here's the delicious variety. We've got some set on that. And here's the beefsteak, which we've got plenty on this. Nice. And if you don't know how these are pollinated, same thing. It's kind of like wind pollinated. So as the wind comes along, it vibrates, which the male pollen and the female part is inside of that. So as this shakes, they mix together and it pollinates, which kind of guarantees fruit set. So if you have like an electric toothbrush, you can come out here and do your thing. Guarantee pollination. Or you can come out here and do this. Just give them a little flick. So there you have it. That's what we got going on. Everything looks fantastic. The black plastic is doing its job. It's already suppressed the weeds and suppressed the grass. I can feel that it's more sturdy of a surface. Turning out great. I can't wait to see how all this stuff turns out. If you guys are interested in any of this stuff, subscribe to the channel. Stick around. Find out how all this stuff turns out, man. You know, if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, message me, comment down below. I'll try to answer your questions as best I can. With that, that's this week's garden update. I'll catch you guys in a few weeks when we start harvesting more fruit. All right, guys. See ya.